This is the second module in the Texas Transition Training Series, Measurable Post-Secondary Goals. To begin this module, let's look at the Transition Services flowchart again. The very first component of the transition process, as described in the first module, is age-appropriate transition assessments. The assessment information helps the student identify measurable post-secondary goals. These goals then become the outcome for all other elements of the transition process. This module will focus on developing measurable post-secondary goals. Measurable post-secondary goals are the students' identified goals for after they leave high school and must address post-secondary education or training as well as employment and, where appropriate, independent living skills. A measurable post-secondary goal is a statement of the desired outcome for the student after leaving high school and is not limited to the first year after graduation. It is measurable if it can be counted, meaning it has been done or not. Within the transition process, for an IEP to be in compliance with IDEA regulations, the post-secondary goals must be measurable, based on transition assessment data, occur after high school, and represent the student's perspective. While educators are not responsible for ensuring that each student meets his or her post-secondary goals, we are responsible for developing and implementing an IEP that supports the student in moving toward his or her goals. By making the post-secondary goals measurable, the IEP team members, including parents and adult agency representatives, all have a clear understanding of where the student is headed, and therefore can develop instruction and activities that help the student learn the skills to pursue and achieve his or her goals. The post-secondary goal in education can include a variety of outcomes based on the student's preferences and the training necessary for the student's post-secondary employment goal. For example, if the student wants to become a mechanic, his goal may be to earn a degree at a community or technical college. If a student wants to become a teacher, her goal will be to graduate from a university with a teaching degree. For some students, the goal may be to complete a college preparatory program or adult basic education. The military or on-the-job training also are appropriate training goals for some students. Centers for Independent Living offer ongoing training in assistive technology, computer skills, and daily living skills. There are also vocational technical programs, such as welding, that may not require a degree, but do require training that leads towards certification. The post-secondary education goal occurs after high school and outlines the education that the student plans to complete. Next, we'll look at a few examples of post-secondary education goals. Bob's goal states, after graduation, Bob will attend a 2-year culinary arts program. This goal occurs after high school. It is measurable, meaning that an observer can clearly identify when the goal has been accomplished, and it is specific to Bob's desired employment. Now, let's look at Bob's non-example. After high school, Bob wants to take some cooking classes. This goal is not measurable because we cannot observe wants to. Additionally, this goal is very broad as it does not identify the type of program that Bob will attend for the cooking classes. Mary's goal states after graduation, Mary will obtain a degree from a 4-year college with a major in elementary education. Once again, this goal occurs after high school. It is measurable, and it's clearly related to Mary's employment goal. Mary's non-example states that Mary will pass Spanish 2 so that she can apply to college, where she wants to major in education. This non-example has a couple of problems. First, the Spanish 2 course will not occur after high school. Second, like Bob's non-example, we cannot observe whether Mary has completed the goal of wanting to major in education. Now you decide. Which of the above statements is a measurable post-secondary goal? Both of the goals clearly will occur after high school, but the non-example is not measurable. While we understand that Ben will need to continue to work on his stocking skills, it is not an outcome in and of itself. On the other hand, the example shows how we can clearly see whether Ben participated in on-the-job training. The post-secondary employment goal can include a student's competitive or supported employment goal. Competitive employment means work in the competitive labor market that is performed on a full-time or part-time basis in an integrated setting and for which an individual is compensated at or above the minimum wage, but not less than the customary wage and level of benefits paid by the employer for the same or similar work performed by individuals who are not disabled. Supported employment, on the other hand, is competitive work in integrated work settings, or employment in integrated work settings in which individuals are working toward competitive work, consistent with the strengths, resources, priorities, concerns, abilities, capabilities, interests, and informed choice of the individuals. For individuals with the most significant disabilities, for whom competitive employment has not traditionally occurred, or for whom competitive employment has been interrupted or intermittent as a result of a significant disability, and who, because of the nature and severity of their disability, need intensive supported employment services. These goals are post-secondary goals that address the area of employment. The first example states, upon completion of high school, Pablo will be a self-employed welder. This goal occurs after high school. Pablo's employment can be observed. He will or will not be self-employed. Therefore, this goal is measurable. Mary's goal states, after college, Mary will have a career in the field of early childhood education. This goal focuses on employment, and the goal can be observed and will occur after graduation. In the non-example, Mary hopes to work with young children someday, and Pablo wants to be a welder. Neither of these statements is measurable, since you can't observe wants to or hopes. In addition, there isn't a clear indication that the goals occur after high school. Now you get to decide. Choose the statement that is a measurable post-secondary employment goal. The measurable post-secondary employment goal is, immediately after graduation, Cindy will receive job development services from vocational rehabilitation or a community rehabilitation program, and will participate in technology-supported self-employment or volunteer work within 1 year of graduation. This goal occurs after high school. Cindy's participation in supported self-employment can be observed as occurring or not occurring. Therefore, this goal is measurable. On the other hand, the non-example states that upon completion of high school, Cindy will apply for services through vocational rehabilitation to support her participation in a vocational center program. While applying for services is measurable, this is not post-secondary employment. The student's post-secondary goal must identify the student's employment outcome. Now let's talk about independent living skills. Independent living skills are those skills or tasks that contribute to the successful independent functioning of an individual in adulthood in the following domains: leisure and recreation, home maintenance and personal care, and community participation. IDEA states that post-secondary goals are required in education or training as well as employment. An independent living goal should be developed when appropriate. If the student's independent living skills are commensurate with his or her peers, an independent living goal may not be necessary, but it's important to err on the side of caution. If a student needs any support in independent living skills, then an independent living goal should be developed. Consider the first post-secondary independent living goal. After high school, Cindy will play basketball in the recreational center at the YMCA. As with the education and employment post-secondary goals, this goal must occur after high school and be measurable. For Carla, her post-secondary goal states that after graduation, she will live with her sister in an apartment. While Cindy's and Carla's goals are quite different, they both address independent living skills. Both non-examples miss the requirement for being measurable. We cannot see wants to. So which of these two statements is a measurable post-secondary independent living goal? While both statements address learning independent living skills, only the example is clearly an observable outcome. After high school, Tom will independently prepare for work each day, including dressing, making his bed, preparing his lunch, and accessing transportation. Now, let's put it all together. Through transition assessments, including an interview with the student and a career cluster survey, the following information was learned about Roland. Roland plans to attend Popular Community College when he graduates. Many of the students from his high school also attend Popular Community College, and it is the closest community college to Roland's house. For the first 2 years of post-secondary education, Roland intends to live at home and work part-time on campus until he finishes an associate's degree. At that point, Roland plans to transfer to a 4-year state college to continue his degree. A career cluster survey and other informal career-based inventories reveal that Roland is most interested in careers related to medical data processing. Through additional transition assessments, including observations and an interview with Roland's mother, the following information was identified. Around his friends and family, Roland is both outgoing and witty. However, he tends to be fairly quiet when he is in new situations and when he is around people he doesn't know well. Recently, Roland told his mother that he is embarrassed by his disability. His mother expressed at his last ARDC meeting that these feelings deter Roland from discussing his disability with his teachers or from asking for additional help. Using the transition assessment information found in Roland's summary, we develop Roland's measurable post-secondary goals. Roland's measurable post-secondary goal for education and training is, upon graduation, Roland will attend Popular Community College to earn an associate's degree in data processing with an emphasis on healthcare. This goal is clearly based on the results of transition assessments. It occurs after high school and it is measurable. Roland's post-secondary employment goal states that upon graduation, Roland will obtain a job in the work-study program at Popular Community College. This goal also meets all of the requirements. If Roland wasn't planning to work while attending college, we could have written a goal such as after completion of an associate's degree, Roland will work full-time as a data processor in the healthcare field. Again, using the transition assessment information found in Roland's summary, we develop Roland's measurable post-secondary goal for independent living skills. We learned that Roland's embarrassment concerning his disability deters him from requesting additional help or time on assignments, and therefore an independent living goal was appropriate for Roland. His goal states that upon graduation, Roland will request accommodations from the Office of Disability Services. The next step is to develop IEP annual goals, a course of study, a coordinated set of activities, and agency linkages that will support the student to reach his or her post-secondary goals. View the additional modules to learn more about the transition process. By beginning with the end in mind, students have the opportunity to create high school plans and IEPs that are relevant and support the students to gain knowledge and skills that form the foundation for post-secondary success. For further exploration on the topic of measurable post-secondary goals, check out these resources. InStack has developed numerous examples of measurable post-secondary goals based on a wide variety of case studies. Texas Project First provides an overview of the transition process and additional measurable post-secondary goals. This website is designed to support families as they navigate the process with their children. The National Collaborative on Workforce and Disability provides an array of resources on education, employment, and independent living topics. Thank you for completing the Measurable Post-Secondary Goals module. Please check out the other Texas Transition Training modules and contact your Regional Education Service Center for additional resources.